Sara, he suppressed an Ujjain revolt. After witnessing the conquest of Lalinga, he renounced war and converted to Buddhism, which took place in the 3rd century BC Mauryan emperor of India. Go ahead. Incorrect, no penalty. Over here. It's time, it's Ashoka. Toss up 16. In a novel by this man, the preacher Alonzo Hickman has a deathbed conversation with the racist politician Adam Sunraider, who has been shot by an assassin. The protagonist of his first novel works for Liberty Paints. This author had that character live in a room. Yes. 15. Lactobacillus was one of many bacterial species in the human digestive tract. For example, some lactobacillus species affect GABA. One of these molecules released by neurons can promote or inhibit action potentials in other neurons.
Neurotransmitter.
Yes, lactobacillus acts on the brain through the vagus nerve, the 10th of this set of nerves. The second of them is the optic nerve.
Facial.
Cranial. Killing off lactobacillus and other bacteria with antibiotics can lead to overgrowth of the difficile species of this bacterial genus, also responsible for botulism. It's Clostridium. 10 on the bonus. We'll go to toss-up 18. 17. One sect of this religion is led by the world's richest royal who does not rule a nation. Another sect, which opposes the acceptance of arbitration at the Battle of Sippin, is derived from Kharijism. The Ibadis and Nizaris are sects of this religion, whose largest sect has Hanbali and Maliki schools of fiqh, for 10 points in this religion that follows teachings from Hadith and the Quran. Yes, yes. This man told peers that his views on fairness were shaped by childhood illnesses that he survived, but that killed 2 of his brothers. For example, he's named this Harvard professor who defined justice as fairness in A Theory of Justice. Dai region it disputes with its northern neighbor. The Dinka and Nuer are the major ethnicities in this nation. That was the site of the 1898 Fashoda incident. The southernmost navigable point on the Nile lies in this country, whose capital is Juba. Yes. Yes, and that is 10. This painter of the Gross Clinic and the Agnew Clinic was fired from the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, for named this painter, who then founded the Art Students League of Philadelphia. Yes, this painting by Akins shows a bunch of nude boys in various poses around an outcropping of rock. One is diving into the work's titled lake.
The swimming hole.
Yes, Akins, like Gustave Courbet, belongs to this 19th century movement that avoided artificial settings, symbolism, and artistic conventions.
Realism.
Yes, 30. Also 19. In this show's penultimate episode, a character sees Charlie Rose interview Elliot and Gretchen Schwartz, which leads him to leave New Hampshire. Its protagonist failed to stop neo-Nazis from killing his brother-in-law, Hank. He killed them in this show's... Yes. 10. In this play, which is subtitled A Comedy and a Philosophy, Anne Whitefield overcomes Jack Tanner's revolutionary ideas and marries him. Which was teaching this 1905 play that takes its title from a concept of Friedrich Nietzsche. It's Man and Superman. This Irish playwright of Mrs. Warren's profession in Major Barber wrote Man and Superman. Yes, a scene in Act 3 of Man and Superman. Imagine this legendary Spanish womanizer in hell. Don Juan. 10 on the bonus, toss up 20. This kind of motion is governed by the Tsiolkovsky equation that links delta V to the logarithm of a mass ratio times the specific impulse times standard gravity. The product of the last 2 factors is the exhaust velocity of the vehicle, which is the speed at which propellant is expelled from the engine. The 3rd law underlies, for 10 points, what kind of motion exhibited by the Saturn V of the Apollo program. Yes. Incorrect, no penalty. Over here. Yes. It's rocket motion. Puzzle 21. This ruler benefited from an army created by Count Haugwitz in the medicines of Gerhard von Schwieten. This ruler, allied with France in the diplomatic revolution, attempted a defense of Silesia and came to power. Yes, incorrect, -5, and came to power in a violation of Salic law. This ruler's father, Charles VI, addressed that violation in the 1713 Pragmatic Sanction, which in point saying his Habsburg Empress forced to fight the War of Austrian Secession. Yes. Yes. Any bonus? For 10 points each, answer the following about the politician John L. Sullivan. First, Sullivan served in this cabinet position. Like that of Secretary of War, this job was removed from the cabinet and placed under the Secretary of Defense in 1949. Captain, answer please. At the time, Secretary of the Navy, many credit Sullivan with making sure this first nuclear-powered submarine would be built. It shares its name with a fictional vessel commanded by Nemo. It's the Nautilus. Sullivan succeeded this man as Secretary of the Navy. 2 years after Truman appointed this man the first Secretary of Defense in 1947, he committed suicide by jumping from a window. James Forrestal, no points, toss up 22. A female villain named for this song lured Superman into the fire pits of Apocalypse. A 2006 film about abolitionist William Wilberforce is named for this song that pairs the New Britain melody with a text by John Newton. Yes. 15. For 10 points each, answer the following about oratorios. This 18th century Austrian composed the oratorio of the Creation as well as the Surprise Symphony. Yes, after the title character of this 1900 Edward Elgar oratorio is judged by God, the chorus sings a setting of Psalm 90.
No answer.
It's the Dream of Gerontius. This Russian composer labeled his only oratorio, Oedipus Rex, as an opera oratorio.
Alkia.
Igor Stravinsky, 10 on the bonus, toss of 23. An essay by this author discusses the sentence, Chloe liked Olivia, written by fictional novelist Mary Carmichael. This author, who hypothesized a Judith Shakespeare in the essay A Room of... Yes? 15. After a priest and a Levite pass by, this third character stops to help a beaten man lying by the side of the road. For example, each name this member of a religious minority from a parable told by Jesus.
Good Samaritan.
Yes, the parable of the Good Samaritan appears in this last of the Synoptic Gospels. Like Acts of the Apostles, it is addressed to Theophilus. Yes, a man of this profession prompts Jesus to tell the parable of the Good Samaritan by standing up and asking, "Who is my neighbor?" It's a lawyer.